When Donald Trump raised the idea of purchasing Greenland in 2019 through a public statement, the move was covered by the global press with mocking headlines. Why had an island, moreover an autonomous territory under Danish sovereignty, suddenly entered the agenda of the United States? However, the Greenland issue cannot be reduced to a personal impulse. Rapidly changing dynamics in the Arctic region, melting ice caps, newly emerging sea routes, and vast underground resources have placed Greenland firmly on the radar of major powers. From the American perspective, the island is not merely a geographical space, but a military, economic, and strategic crossroads. This video does not focus solely on Trump's remarks. Instead, it addresses the deeper question: why is Greenland so important? And why did this issue exist long before Trump? Greenland is the world's largest island by surface area and is located at the very center of the Arctic region. This position makes it critical not only geographically, but also militarily, economically, and geopolitically. As Arctic ice continues to melt, new maritime routes are opening, shortening distances between the North Atlantic and the Pacific. This development is turning Greenland into a key hub for the future of global trade. Greenland's importance for the United States is not new. The U.S. has maintained a military presence on the island since the Cold War. Thule Air Base, equipped with ballistic missile early warning systems and space surveillance capabilities, remains a vital component of the American defense architecture. Increasing Russian and Chinese activity in the Arctic has further heightened this strategic importance. The economic dimension is at least as decisive as the military one. Greenland draws attention due to its rare earth elements, uranium reserves, and potential hydrocarbon resources. These materials, which are critical for global technology and defense industries, have expanded the arena of competition among major powers. From the U.S. perspective, the issue is not merely access to these resources, but preventing them from falling under the control of rival states. Therefore, the Greenland debate represents far more than a discussion about purchasing land. It reflects the new balance of power emerging in the Arctic. When Donald Trump openly voiced the idea of buying Greenland in 2019, it was highly unusual in terms of diplomatic norms. Yet this statement should not be interpreted merely as a matter of personal style. Trump was a leader who preferred to express long-standing U.S. strategic priorities with an unusually direct and transactional rhetoric. During the Trump era, Washington once again defined the Arctic as a stage of great power competition. Russia's expansion of its military infrastructure in the region and China's effort to position itself as a near-Arctic state were seen as alarming developments by the United States. In this context, Greenland was no longer viewed simply as an autonomous territory linked to Denmark, but as a critical link in the North Atlantic defense chain. Trump's decision to raise the issue publicly also carried a domestic political message. His statement, "We do not hesitate to buy America's interests," reflected his negotiation-based understanding of politics. Rather than diplomatic courtesy, power and national interest were placed at the center of the discourse. These remarks were met with strong reactions from both the Danish government and Greenlandic authorities. Denmark described the move as a direct threat to sovereignty and emphasized that it violated international law. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen condemned the U.S. position, stating, "No country has the right to take over Greenland." This response demonstrated that Trump's strategic statements caused serious discomfort, not only within the United States, but also across NATO and Europe. In recent years, Trump has continued to show direct interest in Greenland in connection with rising geopolitical tensions in the Arctic. He has repeatedly argued that the United States must gain control of Greenland due to national security needs. And this rhetoric resurfaced following recent operations in Venezuela. According to Trump, Greenland's strategic location and increasing Russian and Chinese activity make the island indispensable for American security. This approach is not merely the revival of an old idea, but part of a broader strategic vision. The Trump administration even appointed Jeff Landry as special representative for Greenland, officially signaling support for efforts aimed at bringing the island closer to the United States. Denmark once again condemned this step as a violation of sovereignty, reinforcing concerns that the issue had moved beyond rhetoric into formal diplomatic tension. As a result, Greenland has re-emerged not as a forgotten purchase proposal of the past, but as an active item on today's diplomatic agenda, and as a new fault line in US-European relations. The Greenland debate is not solely about one island. It signals where global politics is increasingly shifting its focus. For decades, the Arctic was seen as an inaccessible frontier. Today, it is rapidly transforming into a central arena of great power rivalry. Melting ice is opening new shipping routes, expanding military deployment opportunities, and increasing access to strategic resources. These factors are pushing the Arctic to the center of global politics for the coming decades. In this context, Greenland is no longer viewed simply as territory to be controlled, but as a geopolitical threshold. The growing interest of the United States is not unique to the Trump era. However, Trump became the first leader to articulate this interest openly, without filtering it through traditional diplomatic language. This has made Greenland both more visible and more vulnerable on the international stage. A scenario in which Greenland is literally sold remains unrealistic. Yet, increasing military, economic, and diplomatic pressure on the island appears likely. The debate has shifted away from the question of, can it be bought, toward a far more consequential one: who will be able to exert how much influence? The Greenland case demonstrates that in today's world, sovereignty is no longer defined solely by borders, but by access, population, strategic position, and global connectivity. The Greenland debate is not about the words of a single leader. It is a reflection of changing power balances in the Arctic and of the geopolitical struggles of the future. What seems extraordinary today may become the new normal of global politics tomorrow. If you are interested in videos that analyze current events through their historical and geopolitical foundations, you can subscribe to the channel and follow similar content in the Current History series.